Joe birthday show.
Like it's our birthday?
No.
Birthday?
Today, on Monday, the 26th, is Todd's 59th birthday.
Go on, it's 58. I thought you knew me. I thought we knew each other.
So celebrate. What are you, 43?
2.
Yeah. That number. So I want to apologize to everybody now if I look a little fuzzy and look a little weird. I've been having issues with my fucking camera. I'm going to go fuck it in its face. That actually might be why it's not working, because I've been fucking it in its face.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's got the Gandalf pipe.
Yeah, I finally cleaned it. It took me like an hour, but see that? That's how good that fucking this camera is.
Look at that.
See the smoke?
I felt like I was in a Cheech and Chong movie.
I think they have a new movie coming out. So
all right.
We missed last week. That's okay. Things happen.
Yeah, we had a little scheduling conflicts. We got a lot going on. Like I got a wedding I'm in, which at this point, as you're seeing this, would have been 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So today for the Todd and Joe birthday show, it's all about me. No.
Well, yeah.
It's all about Todd. So
I like the chair.
So if you're going to be 42 years old,
yeah, man.
So, all right, so carry the 1. You were born in 81?
2.
Math is not my strong suit.
Well, plus you've been working all night and shit, so.
True. I was at work for 16 hours. That's okay, though. So, 1981. So, you were alive for the majority of the 80s.
Yes. I don't remember, obviously a chunk of it. Probably up until I was
you don't remember, like, the pop culture things because you were a little kid. Yeah. So, how much did you weigh when you were born?
Oh, I don't know.
What time of day were you born?
I believe it was 1:36 in the morning.
Wow. So you were early riser even back then.
Yes. I believe it was either 1:34 or 1:36, one of the two.
So you were born in Oneonta?
Cooperstown, Bassett Hospital.
Ah, I believe that is the hospital that fixed my eye. My eye. Because I was living in Frankfurt at the time, and when the screw punctured my eyeball, I was driven by my parents to Cooperstown. And I spent a lot of time in Cooperstown for the first, from 4 to like 6 and 7. All right. So, as a young Todd, prior to you falling in love with a little woman named Mary Jane, what did young Todd do in elementary school? What did you want to be when you grew
up? Honestly, for a point in time, I wanted to fucking be a pilot.
Ooh, like a commercial pilot, a fighter pilot.
No, I'm not.
A Stone Temple pilot.
They were okay. But they weren't the greatest. And then I think like STP was also some kind of motor oil.
It still is, actually.
So yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things. And then like, I want to say for a period of time, I don't think, a lot of people are like, I want to be a this or that. Like, I really don't think I had that. Even when I was in high school, I legitimately had no idea what I wanted to go to college for. And all people kept saying was, you got a really good voice. I'm like, I guess I'll go for radio. Like, that's
right.
That was like, because I just didn't. There wasn't anything else that really jumped out at me. Like everybody wanted to be a fucking musician, but I knew like I wasn't gonna be like, oh yeah, here's a new.
Yeah, I couldn't sing, so I rapped. You know what I mean?
And it was just, even finding people like I knew a drummer, but we didn't know any bass players, or, everybody was already in a band, or, like just stupid shit. So, like, because I do play guitar. Well, let me take that back. At one point in time, I played guitar. I have 2 of them still that haven't been touched in God knows how long, which does make me sad, because my electric guitar actually, like, worked to get the money for and everything. And, like, it's actually like not a rare, but it's called like a Fender Fat Strat, and it actually was like a heavy metal Strat, and it was the was that the 80s, I think it was made, so it had like locking heads and shit like that, whammy bar, like it's a nice guitar, nice blue guitar. Like I said, I haven't played in a while. I still could, like and that was the thing too, like one of those things where technology is cool where I could learn, but like when I was, here's a fun fact. Originally, the first instrument I ever started playing was piano, and I actually wasn't too bad at it.
Really?
My sister back in the day was a very good pianist. She could play like fucking Beethoven and Bach and shit like that. Like,
really? That's kind of cool. You should have started a band with your sister.
So, well, my brother plays guitar, so was my dad. My mom used to play piano. Like, we're not like, fucking Partridge Family, but, like my brother is a fucking phenomenal guitar player. Like, you give him a guitar and you're like, hey, play Thunderstruck, dude. Fucking, he'll just play it. I mean,
Just from memory?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
He was the one that he would sit in his room for hours and just play, but he learned the right way. So I played piano, took piano lessons, but when I started to get older, because I wasn't into some of the music that I'm into now that includes piano, like swing and Fish, I got into like punk and shit. So I was like, oh, let me fucking, I want to play guitar. But what I didn't want to do, which now I kick myself for, is I didn't want to learn the fundamentals. I just wanted to learn how to play music. So like before I started lessons, I learned what's called tablature.
What's that?
It basically shows you what strings to use and like what frets to place your fingers on, throughout the songs, either make chords or solos or whatever. So like I never learned chord progression and notes. Another fun fact, since I did play piano, and if I get a refresher course on it, I could do it. Like I could read music, which right. I know a lot of people can read music, but there's a lot of people that can't read music.
Dude, I tried to teach myself, and it just, I couldn't do it. Like
I said, if I started again, like went on a YouTube and found like a video, like I think eventually it would come back to me. But the last time I sat down and actually played piano, I was in like middle school. So it's
that's something that's one of the instruments, like, everybody loves guitar and like all that shit. And like, there is just something about somebody going nuts on the keys, and like even when they're like just jamming and not even like playing a song, just like it's different when a musician does it than if I just sat down the piano. I was like right, but like it, and like it, to me it's always so fascinating because like a lot of instruments like drums you have to be using multiple, but something about like your like fingers are like and like knowing what one side is, like you're playing your own bass guitar while you're playing your like, dude, it's wild. Like,
well, and the other thing that I think people forget too, as a drummer, which I've always wanted to play drums, I just don't know if I would be able to do the whole hand feet differently type thing.
Right.
But the thing that people have to remember too about piano is, real pianos have 3 pedals.
Right.
So there's also that aspect of how to use, when to use them, so that's where like also when you reading music comes in funkies, because then, you're also looking, besides reading the notes, you're also looking for you know, the pedals. One is the one that kind of like elongates the fucking notes and shit like that.
Right.
So you're doing both with that too, which it is a little bit easier than like drums because you're not keeping a beat, but you know, you're still fucking, using both your feet to do, you know, different pedals and stuff like that. And like, I wasn't bad. Like I wasn't like at the level my sister is, but my mom, you know, I used, because, you know, they pay for lessons obviously. So I
Right.
had to practice, you know, every day for, you know, a period of time, like a half hour every day.
That's all. Like, I don't know. Like, I wish it's something I always did, and I've always been very impressed and like by people like yourself who just can do it. You know what I mean? But I'm
It's
just not
fun.
coordinated for it. I just can't do it.
So, and it's just because, well, I was watching it, but then I turned it off because it was on the BBC and it was edited, and the best part was fucking censored. My first piano teacher was this older woman in Oneonta.
Who do?
Can't remember her
Is
name.
is there a sexy story in here?
No. I mean, she's an older woman. Her name, I think, was Miss Pixley. She was in a wheelchair and shit. Sweetheart.
It sounds like an Archie character.
So we're talking one day, and I didn't know how it got brought up, and she was like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah." You know, like, I know Bill Pullman. I'm like, what?
What?
And this is when I had just like discovered like Spaceballs. And she was like, yeah, I know Bill Pullman. Da, da, da. And I'm like, I love Spaceballs. You know, like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, you know
Did you
him.
guys
Like,
have the same piano teacher?
I don't even remember how she knew him, to be honest with you. But yeah, so I was like, that's, you know, how random is that? You know, like, so then after a bit, like, she just got to the point. It was difficult because she could verbally tell you stuff, but she couldn't really show you.
Right.
So then I started taking lessons from this other guy. It was actually like at a church. Like, we're not church going people. It just happened to, you know, be there.
Right.
So, you know, then, and he was a cool dude. I'm pretty sure he swung for the other side of the fence, but a very nice guy and very, very smart, very musically inclined, you know, great teacher. But that was when I started actually, you know, now I think about it, like that had to have been like early teens, because I remember like getting bitched at for like smoking a cigarette outside of the fucking place before like I went in, because he smoked, but I remember like him fucking kind of bitching at me because I think I was like 13, you know, fucking 14. So yeah, but then see, you're gonna learn a lot of stuff about me. They had a bell choir. So
What's a bell choir?
You play bells.
Oh.
Like different size. I mean, there was bells you had to fucking use like two hands to ring.
Were you in a bell choir?
Yeah.
So like,
I actually went to a fucking like competition thing too, and down somewhere. I can't remember where it was.
so like, you could be like the top Santa Claus at Christmas time, stand outside Walmart for the Salvation Army.
No, like we played music. Like
That's what I mean. Like you would be like the rock stars of.
Yeah. But it was, you had to wear like white gloves and shit, and like fucking, it was crazy. Like, you know, and you would have a section. They would give you like, here are your X amount of bells.
What kind of bell did you play?
They were kind of like mid-range. I never really had like the big giant ones and shit, but there
because
was one.
Now I'm going to buy you a bell for Christmas.
Yeah, but you have to find the right one. You have to find like the actual.
That's why I was kind of like inquiring, like, oh, what kind of bell? Like maybe
because there were different notes,
right?
so
but like I didn't know if like there was like a mini bell and a big bell, and like you'd be like, yeah, I was an E mini, and I would like remember that, and then Christmas time.
No, it was just like
you'd play me Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with your bell.
Yeah, it all, you know, small to large, obviously high to low, but I mean, like I said, man, there were legitimately bells that like it was difficult to do it with one hand. Like they were like the large, like bassy ones that, you know, where the bell round is like that fucking big.
So how many instruments can you play? And I'm not saying like, oh, you're the best in the world. Like, how many instruments have you played throughout your life? So, because right now I'm counting 3: regular guitar, bass guitar, and bell. Oh, 4: piano.
Piano. Yeah, bass I fucked around with. I could play bass if I wanted to. Not like, there's a lot of people that, and again, as I got older, got into different music, and I'm like, oh my God, like Mike Gordon from Fish is a credible bass player. Slap bass. I mean, Les Claypool.
Get up in the bass. Get up in the
Peanut from
bass.
311. Like, but again, like I listened to 311 as a kid. But,
Fieldy from Korn.
Yes. Different style, but yes.
Like
I like this slap bass, like the funky slap bass. Like,
right.
There's a song that Fish covers. I think it's a fucking Stevie Wonder, Boogie On Reggae Woman. And the way that starts and the way that Mike Gordon does it, like it is like just funky slap. And it's fucking insane. So it's one of those instruments where I've messed around with it. And I wish I had, learned more crap when I was a kid, but I just wanted to play songs. And punk rock was all power chords anyway. So it was fucking easy. Right. I didn't get into Fish until like later in life and like all the other like more technical stuff. But I mean, I can play, I'm trying to sell it. I just don't play them anymore, but I do have like a set of congas.
So we're up to 5.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I would love to play horns again. Just so much shit that I was very, I don't say narrow-minded, because like a lot of the music I listened to had like when I got into ska and swing, there was a lot of horns, but it was like one of those things where when you're in high school, the only real way to do that is to like join the band, and I really didn't want to do that. So, but again, now looking back, it's like, man, if I could play the fucking like trumpet or the saxophone, that'd be really fucking cool. Because they are like neat instruments. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So I have a special treat for you. I'll call this your birthday present. I found it's an unfinished, but it's the last part of the last song I ever recorded. And this has,
Did you send that to me?
I don't know. I might have tried to.
I think you sent something to me.
Well, I'm going to play it. If it plays.
Living for today, things won't be the same.
I sound wonderful, don't I?
Living for today, things won't be the same.
I know.
Living for today, things won't be the same.
I just got repeatedly kicked in the balls first.
Living for today, things won't be the same.
Yeah, morning late, I gotta get up. I'm pouring that Folgers in my cup. I go to work and do some stuff. Get out early, man, I'm pushing my luck. It don't matter, I feel good. I'm doing things I never knew I could. I'm changing lives one word at a time. Mama always said I'd shine. Ha ha, look at Joey now. I'm standing tall, I'm holding my ground. Passing behind me, but looking ahead. See all these things I found. My friends and my fam. Maybe God does have a plan, but who am I? I'm just a man living for today the best I can. What?
There it is. Yo, that was the last Hot 16 I put on wax, son.
Word. Do you know I make beats? I don't know if you know that. Yeah, I do. It's fun. I enjoy it.
Really?
So, yeah, I have a program. I haven't used it in a bit, but it's a pretty fucking cool ass program.
So you're saying what I think you're saying?
Yeah, yo. I used to go by the name of DJ Bong Rip. Word.
You should bring it back. Joey Stone's in the hizzle. But like, are you saying what I think you're saying?
What's that?
We're gonna drop the Todd and Joe EP.
Well, of course.
3 songs.
I'll go
do the beat.
I just gotta get some. That's the thing with me now that I get older and realize I have some sort of like very active ADHD. I can't not do stuff if it's nice. Like I can't. I've tried so hard to force myself to just and it's probably not always a good thing because I never give myself time to just kind of like because
Same.
like I feel like I am always I have to do something or I'm like wasting time.
But well, I can see your perspective because like you had that scare last year, and I
it's
am
almost been a year. Can you believe that?
yeah.
It'll be a year next month. Like literally, like it'll be
1 month.
a year and fucking like 4 days.
Like
And
the older I get, like I've lost people in my life or whatever. I realize how valuable time really is, and like taking time doing things you like to do, like pursuing your passions. Like it's not all about working that 9 to 5 or working that overtime. And that's why when I do get the like, dude, I just worked a 16 and
crazy, man.
and I'm here. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing this with you because I love doing this. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
our weekly meetups, our talks. Like we go down our rabbit holes and everything. And like I am a little stoned right now, but like time is fucking precious, man. Like
And it flies, and I hate to say in New York, but just because of the way our environment is,
correct. We
You
have
know-
4 very distinct seasons in it.
but the nice ones go really quick and the
Right.
shitty one lasts really long. So like to sit here and literally say, hey man, in a week and a half it's fucking Labor Day.
Right.
Like, well, holy shit. But yet it takes 18 years to get through fucking March.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's just like, man, like especially like trying to like enjoy the nice weather and get as much whatever before, I hate to say it, half funny, half serious, like before seasonal depression kicks in.
Oh, 100%.
When we're fucking cooped up in our houses for whatever because we can't do shit. Like it's crazy. It's crazy to think that it feels like just yesterday I planted a garden and, if I go outside today, 3/4 of it's gone because the environment sucks around here and they got all destroyed. But, it is, yes, time, I don't care what anybody says, and it's probably just because you're more aware and conscious of it. Like, time goes a lot quicker the older you get. Like, as a kid, it, shit took forever, it seemed like.
Dude, I remember being a kid and it feeling like summer was like a year long.
Yeah.
And now, like, I feel like where the fuck did the summer go?
Yeah. Like Christmas Eve, man. Christmas Eve took forever to go through the day.
Oh my god!
Like, and you just whatevering it, and like it literally just took forever. I remember me and my brother would try to do so much shit to just make time fly, and you still it just felt forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the thing is like I need to start being like, all right, you got to stop doing a lot of shit and just fucking take time.
Well,
to do
I'm
whatever.
being dead ass. I want you to give me some beats, and I want to put together a Todd and Joe EP.
I just got to get like a rainy day where I'm not also wondering if my fucking basement's gonna flood because the last storm we had, like water was coming in through like one of my windows in the basement, which is just Well, what happened was like my window well was cracked, like on the outside, and we had like a river flowing through the fucking yard. So it was all coming through that crack, filling up the window well, and because I have windows from the 50s, it was starting to like seep in around the fucking like frame. That was happening before we left for fish and drove through the hell that we did that day. So like I was stressed before we left the house. Gotcha. And then drove through numerous flooded roads and downed lines and shit like that. So like stress level that day was like higher than I am right now. You see
So I just want you to keep in mind one of the songs I have in my head, Beers and Barbecue.
Beers and Barbecue.
So when you make an upbeat, happy thing. So I got
upbeat and happy is what I'm
typically doing.
That's in my enjoyment. That's why I'm not a fan of horror movies. and I'm a fan of comedies.
Right.
That's why, like, I don't care what band it is. It could be my favorite band in the world. I'm not a fan of like slower songs. I like upbeat shit. I like faster stuff. Like, that's why I
Okay.
love fucking ska. Like, it's very, I mean, old ska is a little bit slower tempo, but like anything 80s, 90s, current, is just that more upbeat type shit. So I like punk rock, man. It was always like, man. But again, there are a lot of my favorite bands that play slower songs. I'm like, I just don't,
See, I like the whole, like, I like when you find a good album and it takes you on that roller coaster. Like, you got upbeat, you got dark but fast and hard and slow, and like, I love the ride.
The Wall.
Oh yes,
The Wall does that. Like,
yeah.
I love that. It's like one of my favorite albums. It's not my oh my god, it's my favorite movie ever, but it's a very different and creative movie because it's literally just one long ass music video, but made into a movie as well. It's crazy how they did it. Because that album does, and it's a cool story. Because I'm pretty sure the story was like, fucking one dude, I can't remember, it might have been Waters. Like, I don't know, something was going on at a show and something, and like he spit on a fan, and then like took a step back and was like, "What the hell did I just do? Like, how did this become like this?" Like, and that's true if you listen to that album, like actually lyrically, like it is the story of like somebody whatevering and then getting knocked down and realizing, oh shit. But yeah, that's just my, like, being at a Fish show, and this is, and I know why they do it, and I get it, but it pisses me off because they'll do like 3 or 4 songs in a row that are like, this is you got this fucking energy, and then they just fucking hit a wall and do like some like slow song and like jam it out for 20 minutes, and you're like, oh, there goes fucking, that sucked all the air out of this shit, like. But yeah, if you ever want, I probably be next year, but I'll fucking take you to a Fish show. You ever want to see just a group of great musicians, but like piano and shit? Like, Page is a nasty piano player, and he's got like 3 or 4. Like, he's just surrounded by them. So he's got like a baby grand, and then keyboards, and actually occasionally he plays a guitar. The drummer plays.
I don't think I've ever actually seen one of those live.
Yeah. Yeah, the drummer plays a fucking vacuum. I mean, but they're fun, and like I said, musically, like, you want to see like musicians, like the dudes went to school for it, I mean, like, they can play each other's instruments. Like, I've seen, not live shows in person, but I've seen shows where they literally like switch up instruments for a song, and Trey will be fucking playing drums and shit like that. It's just like, and it's perfect. Like, there's no weirdness about it. You're just like, oh shit, that's different.
Right. So I have a hard-hitting question for you, Todd.
So we're just gonna take a big hit, and that's
How old were you when you lost your virginity?
15?
15.
I think.
Tell us the story. Tell the world the story of Todd losing his V card.
I'm good on that one.
Come on.
Nah, no. I'm weird, man. Like, shit like that I don't talk about. That's just me. I've just never been a dude. I don't know. It's weird, whatever, but I just...
Can I ask one question about it? You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
What up?
What location was it in? Was it the woods? Was it a car? Was it a house?
It was the girl's bedroom.
Ooh, you sneaky little...
I'm not too crazy.
Look at it. I think this is the first time I've ever seen you blush.
Yeah, it's just something, honestly, dude, like, it's just one thing in life that I don't know, man. it's like I'm not like, oh my god, that's so personal. Like it's just one of those like more personal things for me. Like I just don't really talk about it.
Well, on my birthday, if you want to ask me the same question, I will 100% tell
We've got
you
like an hour long
all.
fucking story.
I will tell you all about it because great time was had by me.
When's your birthday?
January 3rd.
Well, it's not too far. See, again, here comes the time thing. That's not really too far away. Honestly, it's like 4.5 months.
You're not wrong. So, how many siblings do you have? 2.
Older.
Both. I know this. We're telling the people. How much older?
My brother's just a couple years older than me, and I think my sister she's got to be like 47.
Okay, so there's a 5-year difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she was born in 77. Yeah, 77. I was born in 82.
Okay.
So I think my
So
brother
we
was
had-
born in 79.
Okay. So Todd was the baby.
Mm-hmm.
See, I was the oldest.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. Like people are always like, oh, the youngest get, oh, da 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 da. I'm like, nah, dude. Like shit rolls downhill. If they fucked up, that was just nope. No, Todd could never do that because Jared was an idiot. No, Todd never do that. Monica did something stupid, like nope. So like, yeah, I got to a point where I'm like, I not that I can't do shit, but they ruined some shit for me.
So I have a follow-up question though.
Yeah. No.
How much of an idiot is Jared?
He's not.
But you just stated 30 seconds ago Jared's an idiot.
He would fuck up. And then I would get the, like he one time we came home one time and the dude fucking like bleached his hair with like bleach.
Wait, Eminem style?
Like he was, punk rock and shit. So he was trying to do something, whatever. And then like he had a job interview because Brooks Barbecue is like 1.5 miles from our house. So he had like a job interview there and like he came home and like fucking like had dyed his hair at his friend's house or some shit like that. So you know what I mean? Like he just did a lot of stupid shit like that. And then so it was not that I ever wanted to dye my hair, but I was a punk rocker. I wanted to fucking like mohawk, like nothing
Right.
crazy, just but no, fucking because instead of like asking, he would just do shit and then come home and fucking.
So I'm interested to see how accurate something is. So punk rock Jared here, what does he do now?
He just lives. No, he lives with his fiance down near Binghamton. He has not worked in a while because of like health issues.
Mhm.
But he actually just sent me a picture the other day. He like set up his basement because he's got a nice fancy basement. With like his guitars and recording stuff. So I don't know if
Dope.
we talk occasionally, it's nothing, like we're not like talking every day, but it's not like once a fucking 6 months.
Right.
So which is, like I said, man, he's an amazing guitar player. It's something he, always should do, like for a while he just didn't, and then it was there. I'm like, why don't you fucking ever play guitar, man? Like, you're crazy at it. Like you have children, like show them, like, play for them. They could either hate it or they could love it. It could inspire them. It could fucking make them want to never touch a guitar, like whatever. But like, that's kind of the cool part about that whole thing too. Like you can help influence your child to get into things that are cool without like shoving it down their throat and like forcing them to do it. But, the dude's a good cook, too. He was like a kitchen manager at Applebee's for years. And he can cook really good food. I worked with him in a diner in high school. Like, but yeah, so that's what he does. Basically, stay-at-home dad. His fiance is an RN down there.
Oh, nice.
So
So we're speaking of children. Now, Todd,
Yes, sir.
do you have any offspring?
Uno.
You have a card?
Yes. Reverse. Ha.
So you have one child.
Yes, sir.
Tell
I can't even call him a child, man. He's fucking 20.
So it's a him.
Yeah.
Almost legal age to drink beer and legally purchase and partake in marijuana.
And cigarettes. Don't forget, you have to be 21 to buy
Oh,
cigarettes
yeah.
in New York State.
Yeah, and tobacco now.
Yep.
I forgot about it. So tell us about him.
Guys, we really don't talk often. Like he did come over a month ago. It was the first time I saw him in like 2 years. He just goes to college. He's going for sports management.
Oh, wow. It's because you're such a sports enthusiast, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, me in sports, We're
Todd was a football star.
Yeah. No, I was a fucking joke, man. I don't even know why I did it, to be honest with you. Like, it was terrible. Like, I got the shit kicked out of me, and our team was fucking god awful. There was a fucking girl on our team that was better than all the dudes. Like
Little Giant style?
Yeah. She's a sweetheart, but yeah, she was better than most of the fucking team. Like, but again, here's what Todd hates about sports. The people that are way too competitive and act like 7th grade fucking football is, we're going to the Super Bowl. So like our quarterback was just kind of an asshole. And we were playing Vic Walton, which is just, dudes that throw cows all day. And so I'm not shitting you, dude. We were in like 7th grade, and I'm pretty sure these kids were not in 7th grade. Like,
they got held back. They were in 5th grade.
Fucking 16 years old and still in 7th grade. So yeah, we were playing. This is the only game I really remember, just because of like this. Like I said, we lost every single game, but he was just being a dick. So like when we got up to the line, because I was left guard. And we went down the stands. I looked at the dude across from me. I'm like, go ahead. And he was like, what? I'm like, go ahead, dude. Like, I'm going to move. Just go ahead. And he was like, okay. So when he fucking snapped the ball, dude, I just stood up and I stepped to the side. And this dude just fucking crushed him. And kid was pissed. He was like crying and shit. What the fuck, dude? I'm like, you're a dick, dude. Like, we're fucking 13-year-olds playing fucking football, man. Like, there's no need to be, you're not Tom Brady, you're not fucking Aikman, like, hell, you're not even fucking
wow, you were pulling out of the back of the closet, huh? Aikman, huh?
Vinny Testaverde.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that was just funny, dude. Like, that kid, I don't think that kid knew what to do. Like, when I told him that, like, I thought he thought I was like talking shit. Like, go ahead, like, I was like, nah, dude, just go, like, just destroy that motherfucker, because he's just being an asshole to us, and there's no fucking reason. And then yeah, I stopped. I don't even want to say I stopped playing sports because of pot, but I just didn't want to do it anymore. It was just fucking terrible. Fucking practicing in the rain. I got sick numerous times. Like, a fucking strep throat like 2 or 3 times. Like, it was just. It was just not fun for me.
See, like, that's where you and I are so different. Like, I thrive in those situations. I love those situations like that. And I mean, I guess it reflects, like, in my job profession too. Like, it's that, like, boom, edge of the second. Like, I have that, like, Neanderthal part of me that just wants to, like, hit things and tackle and everything else. And then part of the but I also have a love and a big dramatic part of me, and that's why I love wrestling. Like, wrestling infuses like 2 of like big parts of my personality, and like that. Like, I wouldn't call myself over competitive. I would call myself average competitive, and like in the heat of the moment, like getting into, like, if like what, like, even when we're like at a barbecue and we're playing cornhole, and it's like a neck and neck game, and I'm like, fuck, come on, let's fucking go. Like,
That's a little different though. Like, to me, that's kind of more like hyping people up, and trying to like get people whatever, compared to the people that are like, oh, my football team just lost, so let me go huck my fucking TV across the room.
I'll be honest with you.
Did you throw a TV?
No. Like, nothing
Okay.
like that drastic, but I've like thrown the pillow on the ground or like.
That's different though. That's understandable and to me acceptable because you're just into like whatever. But to
Right.
literally like chuck shit and fucking like break shit and like that level, like it's the thing too, like I love playing video games, but sometimes people are just way too competitive,
Mm-hmm.
and you just kind of like, well, that takes the fun out of it.
See, but like, I find it so easy to get caught up in it. Even like if it's not like like a group mentality, like it's almost like that. Like that mob mentality, like, all right, let's go. But even like with video games, I find myself being so emotionally attached to like what's going on or what I'm doing, and same with like sports teams. I think like with the sports teams, like for me at least, it's like when I pick a team, like that's my team. Like I've been a Miami Dolphins fan for as long as I can remember. And I have a very emotional, almost like as if it was a person, like love and loyalty for that team. And it was just because it was a random team I picked when I was a child. And I really liked Dan Marino. I saw him and I was like, I like that. I picked that. It's almost like how we are with friends when we're in elementary school. Hey,
Yeah.
you, friends forever. You know what I mean? And it's almost like its own entity that I get. Like some Sundays, like if we're having a shitty season, like halfway through the season, I like the outcomes of the games won't affect me emotionally. But like if we're having like an average season or there's a shot at the playoffs, like right now, the Braves are in the run for the wild card spot, and like I'm like, all right, guys, like I'm talking to them like they're like my fucking kid, like, all right, man,
Yeah.
you can do it, buddy. Like you're gonna, and I get like so like motherfucker, what the fuck? Like I get amped up in it, and it's that. I don't know, man. Like, cause like I was that weird kid in high school. I was that athlete. I did sports all year. I did indoor, outdoor track. I did football. I lifted in the summertime. But I also was that skater kid. Like I worked at the skate park. I skateboarded all the time. I rapped. I rapped. I drew and did all the art stuff. I literally had friends in like every clique and like could float from clique to clique to clique. And it just I think that's like when we used to shoot the promos when we were at the D. I think that's like why I was so good at it, because I have that, like, I hate to use this term, but like that frat bro mentality in me, like, and I feel kind of ashamed now. I feel like I'm the guy that, like, if we were in high school here, you'd be the guy that, look at that guy. He doesn't even know
Depending,
who he is.
it depended your arrogance, and that was the thing with me too. I was a punk rock kid, so I didn't, like, I give two shits about fucking anybody. But if you were arrogant, and I really like hope you got hit by a bus, like, like no one, whatever. So like there were a ton of fucking like jocks and shit that I was friends with. They were good fucking people. The one thing that pissed me off, with high school, well, numerous things, there were those teachers, coaches and shit that fucking, hey, if you were, sports, whatever, hey, you did no wrong, but if you were anything else, you were a fucking piece of shit, like, and that
Right.
sucked because it's just like you're just trying to whatever, but people are just, and I couldn't do, like, I had certain friends in certain groups, but like I hated like the yuppies, like the fucking just Richie shitbags. Like I fucking hated them. Yeah, fucking preppy just douches. Like, because they would be, you know, like you would be known. You know, I was a fucking stoner. You know, like there was a bunch of potheads, but like I was, you know.
That's another thing I was too. Like I don't want to say chameleon because I wasn't changing because I was legitimately like in all this stuff. And part of me now knows it was my ADHD that I was like, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this, I like this. I'm going to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And like that, I don't know, I fucking loved it. Like I still do. Like we've been friends now, what, like 2.5, 3 years?
Yeah.
I'm a very passionate person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you see, even like when I'm angry or like when I'm like, fuck, like if I love you, I'm loyal like a fucking puppy. Like, and I love you, Todd. My little birthday boy.
Just gonna make
birthday.
a doggy style joke, but
go on. So I went to the state fair 2 days ago. You just made me think of something.
I'm sorry.
I like going. We took the kids.
I hate people.
And
I'm
then I hate
people are watching like, what the fuck? Like, sorry, I did retail for 20 years. I have the right to hate people.
But like I also hate crowds, hate people too, because of my profession. I get concerned. I'm paranoid of everybody. But we saw 2 concerts. The first, put your throwback hat on, was Digital Underground.
Oh shit.
Color Me Bad.
All right.
And Tone Loc. And Tone Loc did a cover of Gin and Juice. It was interesting, I'll say.
I didn't think he did much after fucking Ace Ventura.
Well, he brought up Ace Ventura, and then he made a joke, something about having so many kids and they're always taking his money, so he has to go on tour. And I'm like, and I laughed, but I'm like, he's probably not lying. But dude, it was cool. Like I got to see Humpty Hump live. You know what I mean?
Humpty Hump.
Funky Cole Medina. Wild Thing. Like it was very short sets for all because they're all kind of like one hit wonders, you know.
Yeah, here's our 4 songs. 2 of them you don't know.
So then we walked across to the other stage, and AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys,
Okay.
and Joey Fatone from NSYNC,
Joey Fat One.
yes, are doing a collaborative tour.
Backsync.
Dude, it's actually called A Legendary Night, is what it's called. But let me tell you, it was one of the most fun interactive concerts that I have taken part of. Because the 2 of them have very, very good chemistry together. And like they both would do like an NSYNC song together. They both would do like a Backstreet Boy song together. And then like Joey Fatone would do a Backstreet Boy song. And AJ McLean would do a NSYNC song. And then Joey Fatone, speaking of piano, is a piano player. And he did a Frank Sinatra version of Tearing Up My Heart by NSYNC. So it was like, I'm tearing up my heart with the piano. Dude, it was fucking dope. And then like they had this like chart, and it was like 5 songs from like the 90s. And they were all numbered like 1 through 6. And then they threw this die out into the crowd. And when they told them to stop, whatever number it was on, they would do the cover of the song. They did like, what they do? They did Walk This Way. They did a Lady Gaga song. And then they played this game where it was trying to stump their band leader. So they had like people yelling out sitcom theme songs. And if he knew it, he'd play it. And dude, like, somebody named out like Pokemon, and they're like, "We're gonna get you," because like if he got it wrong, the crowd had to boo. And dude, somebody goes Pokemon, and like Joey Fatone's like, "Ha, Pokemon!" And then he's like on the piano, Pokemon, and he likes, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And they did like the Cheers theme song, they did like Friends theme song, and then like they had one thing where like some of the people that got there earlier were given the sticker that said couch, and they had like a couch on the stage, and then like they all got to go up on stage with them and dance with them and everything. Like it was like a very, very fun little collab because like neither one of them were like the stars of their group, and like exactly. it was and like I like all that shit anyways. Like I love everything. But like it was a fun little fucking concert, dude. And then like AJ McLean, who's older than both of us, is still cut and ripped, all tatted up, running around the crowd, dancing with no shirt on. I'm like, and Maria and our friend Tiffany there with us, and actually Carly's mom was with us. And they're running to the thing trying to get videos and pictures. I'm like, fuck you bitches. Like
so speaking of people doing weird covers, do you know the song My Way, correct? Frank Sinatra?
Yes.
Okay. You know,
and I also know the Limp Bizkit song My Way.
Oh, yes. You know who Sid Vicious is, correct?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever heard Sid Vicious do My Way?
No.
Well, I won't play the whole thing.
We get like what, 12 seconds?
Is it?
I think it's like 12 seconds.
Oh, yeah, because I'll play it afterwards. Because you gotta fucking the way he starts it to what he actually goes into it is more than 12 seconds. Although
I love all those like Punk Goes the 90s and like all those like crazy cover, like they in the mid to late aughts, there was a shit ton of them. And
have you ever heard of Me First and the Gimme Gimmes?
Yeah.
That's all they do. They're just like everything they ever put out is covers. Like they've done literally no original music. Like it's just been all fucking like covers.
And I'm a sucker for a good cover. And it shows in my musical taste. What song made Limp Bizkit famous?
Faith. Yeah, Faith.
Faith. And if you notice, each CD they came out with, like back in their heyday, had some sort of like cover on it.
Yeah.
Like they did My Way or the Highway, Life in the Fast Lane. Like there was a lot of samples, like Behind Blue Eyes.
Korn did fucking like Lowrider.
That was off Life is Peachy. But then
there was another cover on there, and I can't think of fucking
their greatest hit album. They did 2 covers on there. They did Another Brick in the Wall.
Okay.
And then they did what's the name of the song? Ow. What the fuck is it? Ow. You're looking at me like I'm a crazy person.
I'm trying to think I can't remember the other name of the cover they did on Life is Peachy. Like it was a rap song. No, I gotta look that up.
Oh, Word Up. They did Word Up. Word Up. Life is Peachy.
Track listing.
Was it
Wicked.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was Wicked, right?
Yeah, they had fucking Chino from Deftones.
Yep. God, that's a great fucking album.
It really is. I just listened to it the other day. Like the first 2, I don't know. After they kind of really blew up, and
we have differing opinions on Follow the Leader and his shoes.
Yeah, I'm just not I don't know, man. That self-titled and Life is Peachy were just
Okay, the self-titled, like, even though they're not like super polished, that like they came into the music industry with probably the best track one of any artist ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you didn't. If the first time hearing it, you had no clue what to expect.
Like, and I still get like that. Like, that is one of those songs that, like, even if I'm like not in a hyped up mode, I hear those cymbals that, and my hair stands up, and
because that's
and, like,
also, you know, like they were. I don't want to say the first because I don't know for a fact, but they were the first band I listened to with somebody playing a 7-string guitar. Which, as a guitar player, and you're just like, oh my god, they make ones. It's basically the high string on a bass.
yeah.
So, but I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, they make a guitar that has a fucking 7. Like, that's awesome. Like because now you have a much bassier than your E. You know, like, so it's like you have like this extra fucking like bass on top of your bass player and your fucking bass drums. Like, so like that was super. Like, I thought that was always neat. So I was like, oh man. And again, I don't know if they were the first ones to do it. Like, I've never genuinely heard of like any other bands.
They were the first ones I knew that did it. You know what I mean?
I mean, Limp Bizkit, what's his face there, Wes? He would do like play weird shit. I think Nookie was like a 4 or 5 string guitar. Like, you know, it was just like he was a weird dude when it came to like instrument wise, what he would play. But yeah, the whole 7th string, yeah, because it just added this sound that stood out, like,
Dude,
yeah,
and like that, and then that bass, boom, 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 boom.
Because that was the cool part too, is like you're slowly introducing every instrument,
right?
not
And
in a like fancy way, just kind of in a normal
like what they
way.
did at Woodstock. Like, that's how they each came out. You had Dave Silvera come out first, and then you had Head come out, and then Monkey comes out, and then Fielding comes out, and then they get through it, and John comes out in the Adidas, like I'm like transported back right now.
He
And you
reminded
hear
me
that
of fucking Wayne's World too.
when
when they're sitting there all the fucking sponsor gear and eating Pizza Hut and shit like that, and fucking we would never sell out to ... Like, honestly, man, like I forget about those movies, but I have to say, like, it sounds weird saying this, but only because as time goes on, you always hear people talk about certain older movies, and now that we're older,
Right.
shit like Ghostbusters is an older movie, you know, whatever. But you just like you don't hear a lot of people like talk about the Wayne's World movies. So like as popular as they were, I still consider them like highly like underrated because more people don't talk about them more often, you know, and they were just amazing.
like, bro,
movies.
I'll tell you right now, like, that's the movie is the first time I can remember probably the whole reason I fell in love with Bohemian Rhapsody.
No.
Like,
I had heard it a million times. I grew up listening to classic rock, you know, like we listened to
but like the first time I remember hearing it, you know what I mean?
But that movie added like a whole like different fucking you know, different fucking thing to it. So
And let's be honest, it's like, especially the first one, it's one of the few SNL movies that actually like worked.
yeah,
A lot of those were big misses. Like, Airheads was great, Wayne's World was great.
I forgot about Airheads. Yeah, that movie was fantastic. One of the best parts, like Wayne's World too, just because it was ridiculous.
Coneheads was awesome.
The part where
Roxbury.
the part where Wayne was fighting his fiance's father in like that fucking like poorly dubbed fucking dude, that was just. And then when he fucking answered the phone and shit, and like just everything about that scene was just awesome because it was so ridiculous. Like, and they pulled it off well because even like, you know, the dude that was playing her father, you know, seems like more of like a serious actor, you know, whatever. And yet he's like kung fu fighting with fucking, you know, Mike Myers. Like, it's like, what the hell? But yeah,
I heard he's
one of my favorite scenes.
Dude, I heard he's a fucking asshole.
Myers?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. You know, I heard the same about fucking like Connery. Like when they were doing Last Crusade, like having both him and Ford was just a nightmare. Which sucks, man, because like as somebody who's just lived like, hey, you know, like I don't want to be like, oh, I've lived just a regular Joe's life, or you know what I mean? But it's like I haven't lived a crazy life. I've, you know, done cool shit, seen cool shit, whatever, but like it's one of those things where it's like you as an, you know, actor or musician or whatever, it's like you have so much power to do cool shit and make people happy. Why, you know, why are some people just complete assholes? You know, like It's like, what gave you that entitlement? Like anybody, you know, I was watching a thing from, it was Rob Paulson. He was doing like a TED Talk somewhere. And there's a clip from that and about how like he met, you know, an autistic kid who loved Yakko. Like absolutely fucking, you know, Rob was like, he didn't know who Rob Paulson was. He's like, he didn't know, you know, he was like, he knew Yakko. And he was like, he was, you know, very nervous to meet me or whatever. And he was showing like pictures, so you could tell like the first picture when they first met and stuff, like the kid was very like scared, you know, whatever. Right. And he was like, and then he was like, I just started talking to him and he switched his voice, you know, to like Yakko, and he showed the next picture and the kid was just
dying,
face lit up, fucking, you know, whatever. He was like, you know, so there are people like him who use that clout for something that's positive, you know, like something that's like, hey, you know what, man, like I just made this kid's day because he got to talk to his favorite cartoon character.
They say Cena's like really big on that shit.
Who's that?
John Cena.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people, but it kills me the people that are complete douche. Now, situation can also determine douchery. If 100%. You're going up to somebody and they're out to dinner with their family and you just happen to be at the same place and you actually try to go get a picture or an autograph, they have every God-given right to be an asshole to you. Right. You don't cross personal space. Like that's a big thing with me. Like when we went to see Cypress, whatever, almost 2 or 3 years ago now, like we went to get food from a place in the hotel. And we were talking to the woman working there about being there for the concert. She's like, oh, like an hour ago, they're all sitting out here eating. Like, that's cool. If I, you know, because I said this to my girlfriend, I was like, you know, it's one of those, like, you think, like, well, what would I have done? Would I have gone over there to talk to them or been like, man, they're fucking eating? Like, they're just trying to be people, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but the only thing, like, I was like, well, if that situation, I probably would have gone over and been like, hey, really sorry to fucking interrupt, but this is a dream concert I'm going to, and I'm super stoked. So, you know, that's all. Enjoy your meal. You know, I just wanted to tell you guys that, you know, and then if anything after that was like, you know, if somebody like Be Real was like, well, you want a picture, you know, then it's one thing, but I would never, you know. But there are just celebrities and musicians and whatever, you know, athletes and shit that it's like you have the ability to do, and I don't mean this in a like shitty way. You have the ability to do more good than me because of who you are. Don't be a dick and actually do some good, you know, like, and that's the thing that kills me. You see the people that are like, oh my God, yeah, so-and-so did this, and this, and, you know, like helped out this. It's like, cool, you know, and then they're like, oh, this person was a complete asshole when this person asked for that, you know, and it's like, why? Don't be, just be cool with people. Like you have a fucking awesome job and a very good ability to do stuff like and help the world. Don't be a dick. Because I also feel like that transpires into people that look up to them. Oh, this is my favorite, whatever. Man, he treats people like shit, so let me treat people like shit too, and I can be just like blah blah blah. And
Logan Paul.
Yeah, he is a piece of shit. And I hope he gets fucking named in that lawsuit. And I hope he fucking whatevers. And I hope I never see him in wrestling again. He bought his way into that company. And I hate to say that because I would hate to think that about like Triple H, but it might even have been above Triple H's head level.
I mean, Logan Paul was there before Triple H.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He was there during the Vince era.
Yeah. But he definitely bought his way into that fucking company. Like, there's no,
I mean,
with all like the prime shit everywhere. He bought himself into that championship, and then when everything went on, then they took it from him.
Right.
Because we're not going to have a douchebag like you know, first of all, putting out stupid fucking tweets and shit, and then when our PR gets a hold of you to say, hey, dude, don't, you like flip shit on them, like, nope.
Right.
Bye-bye. Go away. You suck. You suck. Choke on.
All right. So we've been going for over an hour.
I'm watching Ninja Turtles 2 on the side.
You're a smart man.
You know.
And I need to get some rest. So we're going to end the Todd and Joe birthday show with, I feel like, the only logical way to end it. And you guys get a little bit of my rapping vocal stylings earlier. Now you're going to get some of my singing vocal stylings.
Are you going to go all Marilyn Monroe on me?
We'll find out. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, High LeBeau. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Todd.
Thanks, man.
And from all of us out there in internet land, fuck you, Garrett.
Ha ha ha, it's so true.